allowed us to walk in and breathe in today. God, help us to not take your grace for granted. Lord, we ask that you will help us today, that you will give us the wisdom to make the right decisions. In the mighty name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Nita, roll call, please.
Counselor Howard,
Here.
Counselor Locke,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Segola,
Here.
Mayor Becker.
Here.
Counselor Lorenz will not be joining us this evening and has been excused. Quorum has been declared.
Okay, do we have any modifications to the agenda?
No.
Okay. Approval of consent agenda. Minutes of regular meeting from October 19th, 2023, and review and approval of accounts payable. So moved.
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded to approve, to approve the consent agenda for the minutes of regular meeting of October 19th, 2023, and review and approval of accounts payable. Is there any discussion? Anita?
Counselor Howard,
Yes.
Counselor Locke,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segola,
Aye.
Mayor Becker.
Aye.
Motion carries to approve the consent agenda.
No proclamations. All right, we'll go to citizen comments and special presentations. Citizen comments. City Council welcomes your unscheduled comments. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Council will not take action at the same meeting. Okay. The citizen comments. Sign that paper up there, Raymond. Thank you very much.
Good evening, council, staff. Yes. My name is Raina Boucher, and I kind of feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but I also feel if I don't give my thoughts on the record, I will regret it. So I would like to thank City Manager G.D. Dennis Lonsberry for making the public announcement yesterday stating Adams Street will not be closed. I'd also like to thank everyone who has been involved in the RERC program since it began in Monte Vista. We are indeed fortunate to be one of the 25 communities in the nation to be chosen. Now, please bear with me while I read some definitions from the dictionary. Action, the fact or process of doing something, typically to achieve an aim, a thing done, an act, in essence, to do. Plan, a detailed proposal for doing or achieving something, intent or decisions about what one is going to do. Decide on and arrange in advance. Summary, a brief statement or reinstatement of main points, especially as a conclusion to a work. A summary of the chapter. By its title, this Monte Vista Community Action Plan Summary gives the reader the impression that the information contained within is much more than just ideas. I've been told by many people who were in attendance when the idea of making Adams Street a pedestrian-only zone was thrown out, that it was one of many, many ideas thrown out that day. It has made many wonder, out of all those ideas, how it was one of 5 that made it to print in goal 3 of the action plan summary, if it was just an idea. Closing Adams Street and part of 2nd Avenue would remove 112 parking spots, not only hurting the businesses in those locations, but it would also severely affect businesses to the east, north, and west, as well as the residential area south of 3rd Avenue, because they would all absorb all of the cars that once parked on Adams Street. Ambulance, fire protection service, and snow removal are also valid concerns. Monte Vista has a very small business district, and it will never be any bigger because there is just simply no more acreage to spread out in that area. To carve out even 1 block of Adams Street or any street downtown would leave us with almost no business district at all. Going forward, our suggestion to the group as they continue their efforts to revitalize downtown is to make it a place of beauty, bustling with businesses that will make our local permanent citizens want to regularly patronize those downtown businesses. We already have 10 new businesses, which is attracting folks in our community. If as a result, we get tourism dollars on top of that tax base, then that is icing on the cake. But we all know that no one can exist on a diet of icing. Thank you for listening and considering our concerns.
Thank you, Raina. Hang on just a minute. This gentleman raised his hand first. State your name, Chief Craig.
Name is Craig Bearclaw, and I'm with the San Luis Valley Development Resources Group and Council of Governments. Thank you for the time. I just want to give a little update of what we're doing in the COG and the nonprofit side, the Development Resources Group. For those who don't know me, the state has hired 14 navigators across the state to help bring down some of the federal dollars that are included in these huge grants that the feds have put out. And there's you guys are familiar with ARPA, but then there's the IIJA or BIL and the IRA, Inflation Reduction Act, and all three of those come to over like $3 trillion. So the state has put forth this effort to try to make sure the state gets some of that federal money. So that's my role, is to help local governments and special districts also to try to bring some of those funds down. As far as the Council of Government, if I could just do a quick update. Some of the projects we have going right now are in, I know Gigi's involved in some of that with the housing. We have a contractor in place right now that's looking at properties, primarily government-owned properties, that we can bring into a big grant sometime next year, and those properties can be used as match. And the whole purpose is to get some affordable housing in the area, and that's region-wide. So you'll be hearing more of that as we move along. We also have a workforce project. There's a better word for that. But we're trying to build up the workforce in the valley. I don't know if you guys have problems with hiring folks, but it seems to be pretty widespread. And so we've the COG has joined a collaboration of a total of 22 counties that's applying for a large grant to bring in some training. We'll be looking at training for like CDLs, medical, a lot of medical training they're anticipating, construction trades, that kind of thing. So again, I'll be looking into next year. Hopefully that goes, because it'll be a good chunk of money coming in. We're also working on broadband. And you'll be hearing more about this too. There's a pipeline of fiber coming through the valley that's connecting a statewide ring. And from that, as they're doing that, we want to be able to set up these, what they call carrier neutral locations. And that'll allow carriers to come in and splice off of that main thoroughfare, if you will, of fiber. And so those areas that we have that are pretty low in bandwidth, we'll be able to tap into that. And I say the providers will be able to use those facilities to branch out. So regional projects, and they're definitely in the works. We have a contractor on the broadband right now also. So that's really where we're at with it. There's also a transmission line project in the works. Probably most of you know there's one transmission line coming in and out of the valley over Poncha. And we're looking to, there's a whole collaboration that's been working on this to get another line in. So we're Alamosa County is being the lead right now on a project to study the various routes. There's 3 routes already projected that they're looking at. So again, looking into next year, there'll be if if it's awarded, they'll be pushing on that to determine a good route for that transmission line. So long term, it's gonna be a big deal. Anticipate building that out will be about an 8 or 9 year project. So we'll need workers, housing for workers, it all kind of ties in. So that's really it. You have any questions I can answer or? Not. I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
the
you.
work on all these things. This is, yeah, pretty impressive.
A lot going on and it'll explode, I think, next year.
Craig, one quick question for you now, like talking about being able to help having funding to train like CDL drivers or other people to keep employment, excuse me, here. What have you guys kind of done already? Because the reason I ask is I had a conversation with some representatives from Adams State College and CSU yesterday in regards to trying to build programs at Adams State that will get them ag credits through CSU, but be able to kind of prioritize some of the needs here in the valley for agriculture. So that's I know you said it's about a year out, but what kind of stuff have you guys already got in place?
Pretty much nothing. This is something, as far as this bigger project, has just started up maybe a month ago. So they've collaboratively, we've put together a concept paper, kind of a pre-application. And I think in December, we'll know if we can move on to the next step, which is applying for the full shebang. But other than that, we've been having conversations with both Trinidad State and Adams State. So we have been talking with them about workforce. But we really haven't, there's no going back to the word action, there hasn't been a lot of, outcomes yet. So, yeah.
Stay tuned for that. Thank you.
You bet.
Appreciate your work.
Thanks, Gary. Please state your name when you
Next
get up
one.
there and sign that sheet.
Okay,
How are you, sweetheart?
my name is. Hello?
I,
What was that? Must have been God. My name is Shorty. No, my name is Sheila Sweet Thunder Wallach. And I'm here on behalf of good news that there was a donation made. And in upgrading and beautifying Adams Avenue, a sizable donation for red acrylic Rust-Oleum paint was provided 6 months ago for the Valley Theater to put it up on the marquee so that it could help to start to create more color and design and fun for the Valley Theater, which Bob Richards has put so much time and sweat and energy into. So it's good news for a change, right? Okay, so that donation was made to beautify the theater, and it was brought to my attention that the paint has not been able to be applied to the theater because we need permission from the city to check it out to see if it's lead-based paint. And it's exterior. Now, I am a professional exterior design and signage person. And I looked it up on Google, and it says, in order to remove lead-based paint, all you do is you take it and you put it in a plastic bag and then dispose of it. Well, right now, we have more paint that's falling off just by itself, coming off of that sign. So Bob would like to get that theater painted and bring it back to life again, how it was originally and historically. And so apparently from what Bob has told me, that we need to get help to get an inspector to the Valley Theater to check it out to see if it is lead-based paint. And he said that there wasn't any funds for that. And I said I was willing to do a fundraiser to pay for an inspector to come and inspect it to see if it even is lead-based paint. So he said to come before the council, get on the agenda and see what we could do about finding out about that. And if there's a timeline, how much it would be, and or if we need to go find an inspector, or if we already have one, and see how much it would cost, and then see how much we need to raise to pay for him to inspect it. And then we could get and see what we need, what our next steps are. So I'm just a little girl on the street here that's an artist and designer, and I just want to help beautify Adams Avenue. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll have to visit with Rob.
Any questions?
The paint you're talking about is that the paint that was donated, or is this the paint that's on the building?
No, we don't even know if it's lead-based paint or not yet that's on the building that needs a little bit of scraping, probably about 15 minutes of scraping. Because it'll only take an hour, maybe hour and a half to paint the whole thing.
You're talking about
With
the
Rust-Oleum
paint on the building, not
Yeah.
the paint that was.
exactly, not the paint that was purchased, because the paint that's purchased is latex, Rust-Oleum, gloss, red paint from Monte Vista Co-op.
And council, this is the first I've heard of this, so I don't know who Bob has spoken with or.
Well, this is citizens' comments. We can't do anything about it anyway.
Well, I can look into any of
You can look
the
at-
issues.
We
that
can
are
look
brought
into
up.
that, we can do that, but
Instead,
we can't
But-
to do
make a
something.
decision on anything.
No, and I'm not asking you to
Dr.
make a decision. All I'm saying is that this is the first I've heard about it. And so I'll discuss with staff if someone else, if Bob's been in contact with somebody else.
Okay. Thank you, Gigi. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's keep beautifying Monte Vista.
Have any other citizen comments? Okay, we'll move on to scheduled appearances. And in order to be on this portion of the agenda, you have to file appropriate paperwork with the city clerk no later than noon on Monday prior to the meeting. Monte Vista Fire Department requesting a monument. Damien?
What's that?
Yes.
Yes, sir. And state your name. Somebody may not know you.
There's a possibility.
We never seen one.
I'm David Ariano. For those of you that don't know me, I'm with the Monte Vista Fire Department, been a volunteer for the fire department now. I'm headed into my 19th year. And what I'm here to ask for is, on behalf of the Monte Vista Fire Department, we're here to ask for a petition for your consideration for the erection of a monument in honor of our fallen firefighter, Chief Chuck Charles Archer. It's been, he passed away in March of 2015. And we've been saving up the money to purchase this monument for him and in his honor since then. He served close to 40 years on the Monte Vista Fire Department. 20 of those years were as the chief for our department. So we have purchased a monument that we would like to have erected. Some of you may have seen this as well in the council. And I'll just pass that around. So, it's a very large helmet. It's about 100 pounds, about like that big. So it's really nice. And like I said, this has been in the works for a long time for us. The length on it is actually 26 inches. The width on it is 20 inches and the height is 14. The average weight is about 100 pounds. And we're not 100% sure as far as the platform that we're looking at. using directed, it's in the picture there. We're looking at something very similar to that so that we can put that on. The location on that, we're not 100% determined as of the location because we weren't sure what this would look like until we actually had it in-house and in the station. So we have a couple ideas on what we had talked about, and you guys may have seen it in your brochures that were sent to you. We're thinking possibly the middle of the fire station. An alternative would be next to the fire station door. If you look on Google Earth, you'll probably see a old Coke machine outside. That has been removed. That's no longer there. That, or we're also thinking that it may possibly go up front as well. Chuck's father, Henry Archer, was also a member of the fire department for a number of years. I believe there's a monument in his honor there as well. So that is possibly another option to be considered for us, to be determined at that time until we have all of our plans put in place. But we do have a rough outline for that. So that's exactly what we're looking for. And we're hoping that you guys will allow us to do this in honor of Chuck. And we're not 100% sure on the design up front because we do have a plaque that's going to have something to say. We don't know if it's going to be just in honor of Chuck, or if we might leave it longer so that if possible, we could add other fallen firefighters to that list. So if you look around the house here, you're going to see some people who have had a spouse that served on the fire department. Maybe their father served on the fire department, maybe father-in-law or brother-in-law, members of the community have all served. So I think you can see how valuable this is to us as a brotherhood on the fire department. And it's a way to pay respect.
Yeah.
And that's all we're asking.
Are you guys thinking maybe possibly there would be an honor later on, that there would be another helmet put up? Like,
wow, that's hard to say. If you look at the guys that have served on the fire department, I mean, you look at our new chief right now, Pat Sullivan. Pat's got probably 35 years on him, you know. So could there be? I don't know. Again, how many people are going to put in 40 years? It's tough. It's tough. It's long, it's grueling, it's hard, it's a big commitment to do. Like I said, I'm at 19, I'm headed into my 19th year, beginning of March of 2024. So it's been a long commitment. And to be able to stay there 40 years is to say something. Will they raise one in my honor? Probably not. You know, I'm a grunt. I'm not a chief, I'm not an officer. I like being at the end of the hose. I know my place in life and I love it. Some people have an addiction. I love going into a house where it's in fire, where everybody else is running out. Totally different breed, you know. So it's hard to say though, Mr. Mayor.
I remember when you were getting initiated.
For those of you that don't know, we do, if you don't mind, we do have a unique initiation that goes on in the fire department. So once you get voted on, you have your 6 months trial period, and then once you're officially voted on, they put you on the back of the run truck on the tailboard, and they parade us around town in sheep chaps alone. And we get pulled over by our comrades in blue in a specific area, sometimes just to embarrass the heck out of us. So it's something really unique that we do, and it's just kind of a funny gig that we have going on. But it's getting harder and harder though. I think we have an opening right now. We're 21 guys strong. We have one position open at this time, and nobody is in line. As you guys know, as Craig mentioned earlier, it's tough to find people that want to work. It's tougher to find people that want to volunteer and make that commitment to get up in the middle of the night and rush out in the cold to put out a fire at somebody's house. It's tough. It's tough. But those that are committed are very dedicated to what we're doing right now. We have a solid team. It's something that we're proud of. It's an honor to be part of, that's for sure. So
Your key word was there, a brotherhood.
it is a brotherhood. Yeah.
This is something we can vote on, correct?
Any questions or concerns?
I think the idea of having a plaque that, you know, have more names put on there is.
I think that's the way to go, and I think that's what I'm pushing for. That's my petition within the department, is because if you have just the one guy, that symbolizes everything. And I've seen it at other places, other stations. I see if you go to Delmore at the corner of the east corner of their building, they have a memorial set up there, and it does have a running list. So I think that's a great way to honor everybody. That's the easiest way and the best way. This way we don't have to go about adding or requesting another monument. We've got that there. We could already have somebody come in and do an engraving on that plaque. That's what I'm pushing for. I've got 20 other guys I'm fighting.
Yeah, maybe just a little taller.
Well, again, we don't know the height of this for sure. We're not 100% sure until we actually, I mean, we've got the helmet. It's in the station.
I mean, the base.
The base, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, we don't know on what we're looking at. So, I mean, as an artist, you're probably gonna say it needs to be at least eye level. And that's kind of what I think too. So it might be looking at maybe about 4 foot high with the helmet sticking out. So again, I'd like to, I mean, depending on where we put it, I'm over cautious because I work in the insurance side too. But it's like, man, I've been at Adams State and Dr. Joe Vigil's statue was knocked over by a car. So, I mean, things like that do happen. I'm looking at this going, God, we got to put a barrier over here to better protect it. And nothing has happened to the one that's out front. Everything seems safe on that one at this point. So it's hard to say. But again, right now, everything is contingent on where we do want to erect it. And the height, we don't know. It's not going to be large. It's not going to be huge. It's not going to be 10 foot up in the air. It's not. It's going to be very well designed and well placed in honor of Chuck.
I like the idea, and I'm in support of that.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I would make a motion to go ahead and approve the Monte Vista Fire Department and erecting a monument for Chief Archer.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the fire department putting up a monument for Chuck Archer and forthcoming people.
That'd be nice.
Is there any discussion?
Will you bring the final design back
I certainly can try. Yeah.
someday?
Yeah. Someday. Well, I think maybe once it's erected, maybe we have a big grand opening, not such an opening, but maybe a welcome.
Whole ceremony.
Yeah, a little ceremony. That would be
That'd be
awesome,
great.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
So,
Let's plan on that.
thank you.
Unita?
Counselor Howard,
Aye.
Counselor Locke,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segula,
Aye.
Mayor Becker.
Aye.
Motion carries to approve the Monte Vista Fire Department to place a monument in remembrance of Chuck Archer.
Thank you.
Thank you again. Appreciate it. Ordinances. Ordinance 922, first reading of the 2024 budget. Have a good evening, Raina.
Thank you. Mayor, council members, of the first reading of the ordinance for the budget that we had our work sessions on. I'll just read through it. Annual appropriation ordinance adopting the budget and appropriating sums of money for the city of Monte Vista, Colorado for the calendar year beginning January 1, 2024 and ending December 31, 2024. Whereas City Manager Gigi Dennis has submitted a proposed budget to this governing body. And whereas upon public notice, said proposed budget is open for public inspection, and said notice advises that the proposed budget would be taken into consideration at the regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Monte Vista, Colorado. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Monte Vista, Colorado, Section 1, the 2024 budget for the City of Monte Vista as submitted and herein summarized by fund is approved and adopted. Section 2, the estimated revenues for each fund are
General fund, 5,023,637. Conservation trust fund, 52,580. Urban Renewal Authority, 38,600. Airport grant, 1,101,032. Kids Connection, 221,900. City Service Water Fund, 1,585,228. City Service Sewer Fund, 1,907,051. Capital Improvement Fund, 668,717. Capital Project Fund, 1,691,440. 1 cent Sales Tax Fund, 665,309. Total revenue, 12,955.
I mean, 12 million.
12 million. Okay, you're not asleep, you're not yawning.
Not yet. I'm hanging with you.
Sorry. That was inappropriate, I'm sorry. Total revenue, 12,955,494. Section 3, following sums are hereby appropriated for each fund. General fund, 5,023,637. Conservation trust fund, 45,000. Urban Renewal Authority, 38,600. Airport grant fund, 1,101,032. Kids Connection, 221,617. City Service Water Fund, 1,663,858. City Service Sewer Fund, 2,255,763. Capital Improvement Fund, 1,054,995. Capital Project Fund, 1,691,440. 1 cent Sales Tax Fund, 1,314,448. Total expenditures comes in at 14,410,390. The City Council finds that this ordinance is necessary to the immediate preservation of the public peace, health, and safety, and shall take effect and be enforced from and after 30 days after the final publication of this ordinance. And then I'm asking that you will approve and pass this first reading. I also attached just a fund balance overview so that you could review the beginning fund balance and then the activity that will occur with this appropriation of revenues and expenses, and to show that we do have enough fund balance to cover our requests.
So the fund balance covers the difference between the revenues and expenditures.
I'm sorry.
The fund balance, current fund balances cover the differences between estimated revenues and
Yes.
expenditure.
And the starting fund balance, I estimated it by taking what our beginning fund balance was this year in January and adding the activity that we expect to happen through December of this year.
Yep.
And that's how I came up with the starting fund balance.
Make a motion to approve ordinance number 922, annual appropriation ordinance, adopting a budget and appropriating sums for money for the city of Monte Vista, Colorado for the calendar year beginning January 1, 2024 and ending December 31, 2024.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve ordinance number 922. Annual appropriation ordinance adopting a budget and appropriating sums of money for the city of Monte Vista, Colorado for the calendar year beginning January 1st, 2024 and ending December 31st, 2024. Is there any discussion? Unita?
Counselor Howard,
Aye.
Counselor Locke,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segola,
Aye.
Mayor Becker.
Aye.
Motion carries to approve on first reading. Ordinance 922, the budget for 2024.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anita. Thank you for this, the whole staff for working on that. Okay, ordinance 923, first reading zoning parcels located at 60 North Broadway, 1636 Grand Avenue, and 16 Washington that were not originally zoned when city adopted the zone districts. Who's doing that?
Yes, I will. Go ahead, Counselor.
So
Thank you.
BJ drafted these. The intent here is to zone these parcels, which were not zoned when the railroad sold the parcels to private citizens. And city wants to properly zone all the areas of the property, city property for good order and growth. And the planning commission has recommended that the parcels be zoned to match the bordering parcels. So this ordinance ordains that parcel 35-313-07-035 and 35-313-47008 be zoned as commercial highway, and parcel 35-313-07-036 zoned as commercial business, with all future uses to comply with the appropriate municipal code sections. And done and signed on the 2nd day of November 2023.
I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance 923 on first reading, zoning parcels located at 60 North Broadway, 1636 Grand Avenue, and 16 Washington that were not originally zoned when the city adopted the zone districts.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve ordinance 923 on first reading and ordinance of the Monte Vista City Council. An ordinance of the Monte Vista City Council to zone parcels located within city limits that were not originally zoned. Is there any discussion? Anita?
Counselor Howard,
Yes.
Counselor Locke,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segola,
Aye.
Mayor Becker.
Aye.
Motion carries to approve ordinance 923 on first reading and ordinance of the city of Monte Vista City Council to zone parcels located within city limits that were not originally zoned.
September financials. Where'd Anita go? It's like, you're not ditching out now.
Oh, okay. Mayor, council members, I included in the packet the financial report for the month ending September. And we have completed 75% of the fiscal year. The cash balance in the main checking account for the general fund is $3,511,000. The water fund has $535,000 and the sewer fund has $837,000. We have revenue in excess of expenditures in all funds. General fund $228,000, water fund $78,000, and the sewer fund of $300,000. Total expenditures percent of the approved budgeted amounts in general fund is 73%. Water fund is 64% and the sewer fund is 36%. Our accounts receivable, which consists of court fines, billings, tax revenues. The general fund has a decrease from 2022, which is a difference in the utility receivable, miscellaneous accounts receivable, sales tax receivable. It could be attributed to the collection of the accounts and the difference in tax receivable estimates. Water fund decreased from last year, and I've always mentioned this, so it's the prior reconciliation of the tax lien accounts that I did at the end of last year. We have a large bad debt allowance that I need to adjust, and I did not notice that it was at this balance until I did the September financials. The sewer fund increase in the receivables is related to the increase in the rates and the prior reconciliation of the tax lien claim. The accounts payable, wow, there's a big difference between this year and last year in the general fund, but that is totally related to the Sky High lease purchase payment, which comes in at 500,000 that we pay. The water and sewer fund differences are insignificant, and they're mainly related to accrued compensated absences. Revenue comparatives, the general fund increase had a overall increase of 209,000, and that's related to tax revenue, property tax, sales tax, franchise tax, and intergovernmental revenue, which includes federal and state grants. The water fund overall increase is about 258,000, and that's related to the use of the ARPA funds for the generator purchase that was approved in the Dennis Street project. The interest and miscellaneous includes the water rights lease revenue of 78,000 that we got. Sewer fund overall increase of 364,000 is related to state grant funds, service charges, interest received, and sewer tax. The comparison for general property tax revenue follows the same pattern over the months and the years. May we had a slight increase, June we had a slight decrease, but now it's leveling out in August and September in line with the previous 2 years. The sales tax revenue that we received from Rio Grande County, we hit the same point that we were at in previous years in June. We had a small increase in July and August, and we have come even in September. These slides were Gigi's idea, and over the months, watching the pattern has really been revealing and pretty interesting. So that was a good suggestion. Sales tax revenue, I estimate that in the current month, correct it to actual 2 months later. This pattern leveled off in April and May. A small increase in June and July, but then it actually has decreased through September. So hopefully that doesn't continue. Total tax revenue, which includes all of the tax revenue, property sales, franchise, occupational tax, it shows an increase through the year. And then again, we're meeting the same level in September. Expenditures, comparative expenditures. Overall, operating expenses have increased in all funds due to wages, benefits, G&L insurance. Dispatch services, other expenses this year that were different from last year. We increased our support to Tri-County. We purchased the sand. We have firearm purchases. We have the community development department and maintaining Valley 3. The water fund purchased an insulator, had the Dennis Street project. The sewer fund is going through the wastewater plant design, and we have the set fund. Unexpected increases were the success of our rec department and purchasing sports equipment, uniforms, games, officials, We had the planning assessment expenses for Sky High, we repaired library damage, and we had building improvements to the city hall. General fund revenues, monthly comparison, the general fund revenues average 437,000. The large increase this month is as a result of the payment to the Sky High lease purchase that the funds were provided by Outcome Foundation. The expenditures monthly comparison, the big increase again is because of the payment of the Sky High lease purchase. General fund expenditures, the budget comparison, comparing, we're under budget by 2% in the general fund overall. Which is 2%, but it's still a positive. The current ratio comes in at 3.07 of current assets for every $1 of current liabilities. We have 7.84 months of operating expenses in the general fund in the unassigned fund balance at month end. Thank you. Do you have any questions? Comments?
I like scraps too.
Pictures are always nice, huh?
It's always great to have a visual.
You crunched a lot of numbers in the last one.
And color too.
Motion approved.
I would just ask that you approve the presentation.
Make a motion to approve the September financials as presented.
Seconded.
It's been moved, seconded to approve the September financials as read. Is there any discussion? Unita?
Counselor Howard,
Yes.
Counselor Locke,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segola.
Aye.
Mayor Becker,
Aye.
motion carries to approve the September financials.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anita. Staff proposal reports and actions, city clerk.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm gonna make mine very sweet and short. Just wanted to remind you all, the election is coming up very soon, November 7th. Wanted to just remind everybody, this is last week's paper. But I found it very interesting and I just wanted to make sure that I brought this forward because I think it's very important that we all understand the implications of Proposition HH. Not only have you all made it very clear of opposing Proposition HH, but our Del Norte Fire Protection District has opposed Proposition HH, as well as the Rio Grande County Commissioners have opposed Proposition HH. That is in last week's paper. I just wanted to, again, make it very clear that I would like to, again, support the opposition of Proposition HH and remind our voters to please get out there and vote November 7th. It's very important. Your voice is needed. It's very important to vote.
Thank you, Unita.
Okay, and I have one other thing I'd like to read. Dear friends and family of the Monte Vista community, once again, it's time of the year to come and have a delicious bowl of chili with our community firefighters and neighbors and friends. There will also be potatoes, broccoli, cheese, ice cream, cake, and refreshments, and many door prizes will be given away. Most importantly, while attending the chili supper, you can browse this station and all the tools and equipment your donations have provided. The fire department throughout the years will be on display. Previous donations have helped us in purchasing battery-powered chainsaws, battery-powered fans, and thermal cameras. This year, with your help, we hope to reach our goal of purchasing more specialized equipment for our various fire apparatus. In 2023, our department has responded to over 200 calls and is on pace to meet or exceed the call volume from previous years. These calls range from fire structures, fire alarms, car accidents, grass fires, and gas leaks. The department also works together with other Valley departments when called on for mutual aid. In addition to responding to the many calls, the firefighters have participated in hundreds of combined training hours to better prepare when a particular emergency arises. In closing, join us for the annual chili supper. Every firefighter looks forward to seeing our friends, families, and community there. The date and place, a time again, is November 11th from 4 to 7 at the Monte Vista Fire Department at 401 South Broadway. The Monte Vista Fire Department would like to thank you for your continued support. Sincerely, the Monte Vista Fire Department Fundraising Committee. So please join the fire department. I have to tell you, I went last year and it's absolutely delicious. Except for it's very
That's all right. I forgot to read that to you guys earlier.
That was good timing.
How
TV
long?
report.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Good to see you all. I really don't have very much, just talk about more grants. We've been pretty successful in giving quite a few grants. Got another hiring and retention grant, and I think I told you that last time. I hope to never use it. It's good for 2 years, but if we do get, if we do have any openings, this will be the first time we've actually had funding that we can actually pay for, like, we want to recruit from within Monte Vista. That'll be our first, is to try and find local residents that want to go to the police academy, and we'll have the funds to pay for them to go to the academy and all their equipment and all that stuff. So that'll be nice to actually recruit homegrowns from here. And that we would give preference to. So if any of you are interested, if there's an opening, there you go. We have a grant and we'll pay for it. But again, I gotta be honest, I'd be pleased if we had to actually turn that money back, because then that means we've stayed at full staff and we haven't had turnover. So, but it's good for 2 years, from January 24 to December 25. So, but it is there. And again, more grants, another 89,000 that we received to purchase quite a bit of equipment and stuff that we'll be purchasing in 2024. Restructuring, I've talked to you a little bit about this. I'm going to finish that up, and we're going to probably implement that around the 1st of January, just restructuring, adding another layer in there. And so we've worked it out in the budget and stuff too. There won't be that big of an impact and stuff, but like adding a lieutenant's position in there, one over patrol division, and then one over like investigations and stuff like that. And then it will probably open up a couple opportunities for like corporal positions and stuff like that. So we'll be doing that right after the first year. Let's say the structure here was always kind of weird when I came here. I came from the military, and I know Councilor Howard can appreciate that. There, you need those. You need some structure in there, and some ranks, and some better management of personnel and stuff. So we're going to do that after the first year. And then another grant. I'm working on a grant to hopefully it'll be about 300,000 if we can get it. If to hire or contract for mental health services. A lot of agencies are doing it, and they're extremely successful. I use Durango as an example. The chief over there is a good friend of mine, and they have a very successful program on hiring a co-responder. Like, we go to a lot of calls that, in my opinion, we should not be there. Plain and simple, they're non-criminal calls. They're people with a mental health crisis or something like that, and we should not be at those type of. We shouldn't be the first responders to those. Right, the way it is, and this has always been put on law enforcement to be the first responders to somebody in a mental health crisis. We're trained as law enforcement. We're not. We have very, very basic mental health training, and this would allow us to hire somebody that would go to us with the calls, and there's times, as long as there's no violence or something like that involved, they would be the ones that would respond. We wouldn't necessarily respond. We'd be in the backgrounds, not interacting and stuff, because again, our training has always been in enforcement. That's what we are, is law enforcement, peacekeepers and law enforcement. We're not mental health professionals. We don't have the training. So this grant will allow us to hire somebody, bring them on staff, and they will be, Alamos is doing it. And they've had, I went over and met with their co-responder, and he's been extremely successful. And then again, like Durango and Fort Collins, the chief up there, they have a very, very successful program. So hopefully we get the funding for that, and if we get it, it'll probably be sometime next year that we'll hopefully be able to implement this and be able to provide those services to people that are having mental health issues, rather than having us be the ones that are responsible.
The grant, where'd that grant come from?
It's the state behavioral health. Yeah, and the good thing is it's a preference for new programs that are trying to get set up. And it'd be good for 3 years, so you know, and I believe it's renewable, so we could continue to do it. So I want to at least give it a shot, and I think we owe that to the community to provide that service and stuff, and give a better service. Because I gotta be honest, the current mental health system in this state and in this nation is horrific. There's just not a lot there, and it's and we're not immune to that here. Any other questions? And thank you all for your support.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Your training or the grant that you got for post training and equipment for new people is, who's that through?
I've written so many, let me think first. It's a J, it's a J grant, so it's a pass-through grant. So it's administered by the state, by DCJ, Division of Criminal Justice, but it's a pass-through grant. I think it's actually a BGA, Bureau of Justice Affairs, or something like that. But I'm pretty sure that's but it's administered by the state.
Okay, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I think so far this for 2024, I've already got like 120,000 grants, and had about the same last year. So yeah, not costing us anything to update our equipment.
You keep stats on the calls.
I do.
What are those?
That's actually a really good question. I just pulled those just since January of this year. We've had we initiated 39 mental health calls, and what's interesting about that is we can categorize it 2 different ways. Mental health calls that we go to, and we you know, there's like really no action taken, and then so there was 29 that we just initiated or reported as documentation, but there was 10 that resulted in transport and mental health intervention. Because the way it really works is if we have somebody that's in mental health crisis and stuff, we take them and they need to go for like an admit or something like that. They get transported to the hospital via ambulance, or for us, we try not to transport because of the liability and just too many other things going on there. So we get them transported to the hospital, the mental health meets them at the hospital, and then they make their determination whether they get placed or something like that. So yeah, 29, so total of 39, is that right? Yeah, 39 total mental health calls we've had already this year, and 29 were no further intervention, and where they talked to them health on the phone, so they weren't transported, and then 10 that were transported and committed.
Thank you, Chief. IT.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Missed you guys at the last meeting, but it's good seeing everyone. Gonna try and keep the report short and sweet as usual. We finished up our domain controller upgrade, so our primary and secondary are up and running fully, and we aren't seeing any other issues with that. And our Active Directory sync for the programs that we use in the background are also running and fully up and operational. We have started redoing the public Wi-Fi over at Kids Connection. This is just us beefing up the back end of everything to prepare to bring some more access points online for the kids. So that way they can do their schoolwork and everything there comfortably without having to worry about connection. We have placed a computer out there at Kids Connection as well for their 3D printers. So that is now fully up and operational, and hopefully they're actually getting some good use out of that for their 3D printer. Over at Sky High, we have deployed a Zoom bar and a PC in their orange room, which I'm not sure if it's had any use, but we walked Stephanie and her staff through on how to use a Zoom bar, and they seemed pretty excited about it when we were going through the training with them. We placed Stephanie's computer out there. The Sky High Event Manager PC has been set up and deployed, so she's no longer just on a Surface. She has a full system out there. Hopefully that will serve her a bit better and hopefully create some less stress for her. Out there at Sky High, we have adopted in all the mechanical locks that have been brought into the system. So these are all the locks on their doors into the conference rooms and all that. They now all require a key card to get scanned into, which Stephanie controls the access and all that. So she's set up and good to go on that front. Here at City Hall, we have began putting up the City Hall cameras. We have a couple more to troubleshoot and get up for full operation. But for the most part, they are all up and running. So we have the outside security back up and good to go. Our phone system has officially been redone here in City Hall. All the phones have been replaced. We are working on some back end over on the PD side to get our sergeant's phones. And those should be the last few that we need besides the one-off rooms like the conference rooms and everything like that. On the PD side, we are working on redoing our back end in the PD IDF, which is our little IT closet on that side. That's just allowing us to get the connectivity over there without much issue and hopefully stopping the issues that we've been seeing with drops in connectivity here and there. And then my final update is the Cassell server for the financial system and all that has been replaced. That was upgraded this last Friday. It's been fully replaced and it's up and running, and from what I've heard, operating a lot better from our financial team. Are there any questions?
Appreciate you guys, man. Appreciate you a lot.
All right. Thank you, council. You guys have a wonderful night.
Thank you. You as well. City manager.
Take that a little. Okay, so. Last week I was up in Avon because I'm on that Energy Mineral Impact Advisory Board for grants. And that's always kind of fun for me to listen to what other people are applying for and such. But Monte Vista also had a grant that we proposed. And this one was brought about because of the downtown, some of the downtown merchants. And Ramon, it's interesting that you're here right now because he gathered a lot of the signatures, and that helped support our grant. We'll know in December if we get it or not, but it's to replace the drainage and asphalt down both alleys that hug Adams. So down alleyway between Jefferson and Adams and Washington and Adams. So we're really, if things, as long as things don't change from when I left last week, that looks very favorable. So we might be getting that fixed. There was a match to it, and we'd be matching it with some of the 1 cent street funds that we received, I believe is where Rob is pulling that from, so we can make that match and if we get it. We had a productive meeting this morning with CDOT, and this is on our multimodal grant. That's for the big sidewalk that will go basically from the Alta station by Safeway out to Sky High. And so you guys approved an engineer a couple meetings ago, and so he was on the call, and they've been in town doing their initial design work. And so that project is progressing well. And then today we had a gentleman in from CDOT. He's in a new role with safety. And so we talked to him about some of the street crossings where we would like to have some sort of pedestrian markings to make it safer. And so we were able to visit with them about that and get CDOT looking along their state highway system of where we need some safer crossings. Element Engineering, they're our water and sewer engineering firm. They found an EPA grant that they wrote it for us, and that is being submitted either tomorrow or it's due Monday. And that is to put a water tower in Monte Vista. That's a no match grant. So it would back up and support, our whole fire system, and you probably like that idea. And as well as then the security of the water system if something should happen. So, well, it's kind of a long shot, but you don't know until you try. So we'll see what happens.
How big of a tower?
Capacity would be a million gallons. So. On next Thursday, November the 9th, 2 things of importance there. One, because of the way the city holidays align and Veterans Day is on Saturday. The city holiday then is celebrated on Thursday because Friday the office is closed. So next week, the office will be closed Wednesday through Sunday. Thursday through Sunday, sorry, Thursday through Sunday. And also next Thursday, there's a gentleman I've been working with, and you may have met him at some of our community meetings, but his foundation is called The Right, spelled WRIGHT, and their symbol is like I'm not gonna tell you what the symbol is because I can't think of what the word is. So what?
Anvil.
Thank you, an anvil. So anyway, he's been working the last few years going around the state holding these campfire conversations is what they're calling them. And it's about kind of a meeting of place. And why are you here in Monte Vista? You know, what meaning does it have? Have you always been here? Did you leave and come back? Why did you come back? Why did you leave? And so it's going to be 3 facilitated discussions. And I asked Victor, and he's accepted to be on one of the panelists. So it's free, it's open to the public. It's going to be at the church project, which is the church at 3rd and Broadway, the red church, the old Baptist church. So South Broadway and 3rd. So it starts at 5 o'clock with light refreshments. The conversation piece of it will be at starting at 6, and it should be wrapped up no later than 8 o'clock. So he picked 3 communities in the San Luis Valley, so they're concentrating on San Luis was tonight. Monte Vista is next Thursday, and then the town of Saguache is the following Thursday. So all of these stories may be ended up collectively put into a book, and so we're just kind of telling our Monte Vista story a little bit. So it'll be interesting. And that's all I have. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Gigi. Council committee, city commission, council reports. We'll start with Councilor Locke.
I want to thank Urgid for Rio Grande Economic Development for putting together an event a couple of nights ago with the lobby out of Salida. Those of you that were there saw the presentation, but it was an extremely innovative, entrepreneurial based project and mentorship project. I think it would be wise of us to speak with these people further and see what we can do for the entrepreneurs here in Monte Vista as well as Rio Grande County. So I'd like to see that go forward a little bit. I thought it bared more information, more actionable information. Other than that, I don't have much of anything else. It's getting cold. Bring your puppies in, bring your kitties in. This is not for little ones. Just watch out for your neighbors, make sure they're okay.
Thank you. Councilor Howard.
Nothing for tonight.
Short and sweet, huh? Victor?
I want to thank the fire department, because those guys are on it, man. Like, call them 2 minutes, they're there. It's fast. So shout out to you guys and the whole crew, man. You guys are amazing for volunteering and putting your guys' life out on the edge, for other people. It's very unselfish of you guys. So that's great. Also, daylight savings time is changing this weekend. So remember to set your clocks and set your alarms. I've been waking up late because it's dark outside, and I'm like, I need to start putting an alarm because I usually wake up earlier, you know what I mean? And it's been getting dark, staying darker later. So time change, set alarms, look out for your neighbors. And from Monte Vista, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll back that up. Not being late though. For the fire department. The plus we have as a small community is they pretty much know everybody and pretty much everybody knows fire department. And they have a brotherhood, but we have a family.
That's just not fires they respond to, too.
What's everything, what they see, and it's the same with law enforcement as well. We depend on them, we want them there when we pick up that phone and call. But we take it for granted, a lot of people take it for granted, and we shouldn't. Because you're right, they put it all on the line. So. Oh yeah, and the chili supper. Don't forget to go to the chili supper. The green chili is absolutely the best, and last year it was hot. But and it's always a nice cool evening, so it's better for you.
You get a good turnout. We're well supported by the community. We're very blessed.
There's one more community announcement, and that is on Friday, they will have the Veterans Day Parade in Monte Vista.
It's Friday
The
the
10th.
the
The
10th,
10th.
Friday the 10th.
Yes.
10 o'clock.
Do you know the route? I thought off the top of my head.
Yeah, the route will be from around the bowling alley. Then taking a left on Adams there and then coming up on Third, probably around to Bronx and then back and then under the Scott's gonna have the flag, the big flag, fire department flag there. As you enter the park. So they'll take a left on 15 there, Broadway.
And you're still just letting people who show up that morning, they don't have to
Exactly.
just show up.
Scott said
Get in
just
line and-
everybody show up, whoever wants to be in, show up and meet at the bowling alley.
That's what I thought. I just want to make sure that.
That's the way to do it.
Everybody knew that.
Yeah. One other thing I have is Christmas is upon us, and I know Gigi's getting excited about this. And the Christmas parade theme is so period much period Christmas. So light it up.
So period much period Christmas period.
So
So
I'm
much.
looking forward to that. Really excited about all that stuff. Halloween stuff, decorations come down. It's time to put Christmas up. And with that being said, we will adjourn, recess the meeting until November. Really?
Oh, cool.
I should have known.
60.
16th. We'll recess the meeting till November 16th.
Nice.
Here at council chambers at 6 p.m. Monty Strong.
So just for you.
Good.
Thank you, Dean.
Thank you, guys.
Wish I'd gotten this right.
You did?
I wish I'd gotten this.
Means a lot.